Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. So as you can see, today I'm out in the open. Very beautiful day today. I'm not right by, but I'm very close to the mountains, which is very cool, right? Like over there. Um, well, today I'm in Claremont, California, in a very special location called the California Botanic Garden. Um, this is a botanic garden that specializes in California natives. So here we'll find lots of shrubs, trees, plants that are native to California. Um, but today won't be about native plants, as special as they are. Um, Today's video is actually a makeup of something that I wanted to film for Earth Day, to commemorate Earth Day, but I didn't have the chance to, so I'm deciding to do it anyway, even though it's a bit late. So as you can see, there's lots of plants around me. Obviously, it's a botanic garden, but for today's video, we're going to talk about something very special, something that's very abundant here on Earth, what's around me, but very rare in the universe, like extremely rare. Can anybody guess what it is? Well, it's life, obviously, but today I'm going to talk about something ultra specific. We're not talking about just plants in general. We're actually going to talk about something produced by plants: wood. So wood is, like I said, very abundant here on Earth, but extremely rare in the universe. As we know it, Earth is the only planet capable of sustaining life. Well, carbon-based life, because we never know. There could be other forms of life that are not carbon-based. But anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But yeah, today's video is going to be all about wood. I'm very excited to talk about wood. So I'm not really going to talk about the different kinds of trees because I don't even know them myself, like oaks, pines, conifers, this and that. I don't know all the different species or kinds of trees, so I'm just gonna talk about wood in general. So wood has been used by humans for so long, whether that be to create shelter or or just plant products in general. So humans have used plants because trees are plants still. They're not separate organisms. They're plants with just special growth. So yeah, anyways, let's get into what wood is exactly. So to make it pretty simple, wood is produced by plants, but wood is actually composed of something called the xylem. So plants have tissues. Plants are organisms. Organisms have organs made from tissues. The vascular tissues are the ones that are able to transport and conduct materials within the plant. So the plants, I've made a video on plant tissues, but in case you didn't watch it, just to shorten it, plants have vascular tissues called the xylem and the phloem. The xylem is going to conduct and transport water and dissolved minerals, and the phloem will conduct and transport nutrients, sugars, and whatnot. So yeah, the wood is actually composed of something called the secondary xylem produced by trees. So there are many other plants that don't have wood. Those are called like herbaceous plants. They have very soft, flimsy stems. Those don't produce wood, so those only have primary xylems. Well, xylem. But woods are composed of the secondary xylem, so meaning there's more than one. So first, let's look at this model here. Very cool. So this is a cross section of wood. Ignore my notes. I like to make outlines of what I'm going to talk about in my videos so I won't get too lost. So let's go over some basic anatomy of wood. So let's start with the outside first. As you can see, the outside has a very tough structure. This is called, well, what we know as bark. Excuse me, I don't know why it's not focusing. So anyway, that's what we know as bark. Right here, let me set it down. This is bark right here. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I don't know why it's not focusing. But anyway, this is bark. Can also be known as cork. Sorry, trying to focus it. But anyway, let's start from the outside inwards. So this is cork, the very outer layer. It also has the dermal layer. So the cork is right here. This should be the cork cambium, this border here, separating the bark from this lighter inner color here. Okay, do you see that? So that should be the cork cambium. This right here, this lighter edge, should be the phloem. So like I mentioned earlier, the phloem helps transport nutrients, sugars, foods, all that. So this should be the phloem. The border between the phloem and the sapwood should be the vascular cambium. So a cambium is a region where cell division takes place in this case. So the cambium is going to produce the xylem and the phloem. The phloem and xylem are both produced outwards. So this area here is called sapwood. This contains the the primary xylem is closer to the middle of the tree, and the secondary phloem will be closer to this border. The primary phloem would be around here. Something about the phloem as well, when the vascular cambium divides and splits, so like when it grows, the phloem will get pushed down towards this way, and it will get crushed. So the phloem is pretty sensitive. Once it gets crushed, it will eventually become part of the bark. But like I said earlier, this is the sapwood, and this darker inner circle here is called the heartwood. So the heartwood does not contain any living cells. So the heartwood has, the xylem has specific cells called vessel elements or tracheids, depends on the species. It can even have both sometimes. But yeah, in the heartwood, the vessel elements or tracheids are not conducting anything. So this whole inner part here is dead and non-conductive. So the cells actually plug up with thick compounds like resins, tannins, oils, waxes. So they're non-conductive, but the heartwood still serves an important purpose, which is structure and support. So the heartwood is going to act like a skeleton, for example. So yes, the sapwood is living, unlike not living, I wouldn't say living, I would just say conducting, unlike the heartwood. So the sapwood does contain conducting materials. Excuse me, it is still conducting water, unlike the heartwood. We see this ray here. This is called a pith ray. So this pith ray is right here. You can see it on the radius of this cross section of a tree. So the function of these rays are to transport materials laterally. So it's going to help transport materials all throughout this tissue. Okay, do you see that? So laterally to all these tissues surrounding it. Okay, so yeah, we pretty much went over the anatomy of a cross section of a tree. Covered the heartwood, the sapwood, the secondary xylem, primary xylem, the vascular cambium, the phloem, primary and secondary phloem, the cork cambium, and the cork. Oh yes, I also want to talk about the rings. So I know you've seen videos where people count rings of the tree to determine its age, which is actually pretty accurate. So you can see here there's a lot of different rings. Well, these rings are formed by two parts. So the earliest part of the ring is called the springwood, and the oldest is called the summerwood. So like I mentioned earlier, wood is composed of the xylem of plants. So the spring wood is going to contain larger vessel elements, which are the cells that make up the xylem. It's going to contain larger vessel elements because it's spring wood, so it's growing during the spring. This is probably some of the most favorable this season probably has some of the most favorable conditions for growth. So the plant is going to produce vessel elements that are large, so it can take up as much water as possible to fuel its growth. After after spring, when summer and fall come along, more towards the end of summer, so ending of summer and beginning of fall, that's when the summer wood will start to be produced. Autumn and winter don't usually have favorable conditions for growth, so the vessel elements in summer wood will be a lot smaller, and well, we wouldn't probably be able to see them as well in summer wood. But yeah, the spring wood and the summer wood make up what are known as annual rings. So the rings you can see here, you can't really tell because this wood is sanded, but yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to say about this model of wood. Pretty cool, right? So yeah, we pretty much learned about the different layers present in wood. So pretty cool. I also kind of want to talk about twigs. So let me go back to my spot where I was filming. So let's look at a twig here. So you probably might be thinking like, oh wow, what's so special about a twig? But twigs are really cool because we get to see their age. So, and they're part of a tree, obviously. So let's start from here. Sorry, I'm trying to focus. Let me see. So these are buds right here. So the apical buds and the axillary buds. The buds will turn into either leaves or flowers. So that's where the apical meristems are present. Apical meristems are regions of growth because that's where cell division takes place. So right here, let's also look right here. This is a bud scale scar. So this marks the beginning or end of growth. So 1 year of growth. So this is all one node. This was all, well, it was broken off here, but this is all growth that took place within the same year. We know this because this is marked by the leaf bud scale scar, which is this horizontal scar here, taking up the diameter of the twig. So that marks a year of growth. Right here we can see a leaf scar right here, and then I'm not sure if you can see, I'm trying to get this to focus, but there's a lot of little dots, like little dots we can see around the twig. Those are called lenticels. So lenticels are very similar to stomata on the undersides of leaves. I think I might have talked about this, but anyway, stomata and lenticels are parts of the plant where gas exchange takes place, and gas exchange is very important in plants because plants need gases to perform lots of different metabolic processes. Sorry, lost the word there. Like photosynthesis, respiration, and whatnot. Gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and yes. So lenticels and stomata are sites of gas exchange. Oops, I just threw the twig. Sites of gas exchange in these plants and trees. Okay, so we just talked about wood, anatomy of okay. Now let's look at the tree in a more broader focus. So this is a very huge tree in front of me. Why can't my camera focus? So right here, this big huge part we can see is the trunk. Then it branches out, and produces branches. And then we have the leaves and twigs all the way on top. So the crown of the tree is going to include all the leaves, the twigs, and the branches. Then we have the trunk and the roots which are underground. Sometimes we can see roots of trees though. Like we see them when they break sidewalks and crack them. Very strong, very cool, right? So yeah, we pretty much talked about wood. I think that's all I really wanted to cover in this video. So to conclude, if you're still left a bit confused, I know it is a lot. To conclude, wood is composed of the xylem in plants. So it's more specifically produced by the secondary xylem, which is also produced by the vascular cambium. So this widening of the tree and production of wood is also known as secondary growth. Primary growth is the growth in plants from the roots and the shoots, so the vertical growth. And secondary growth is the widening of the tree. So yeah, from side to side, or horizontal growth. So what else did I want to cover? I also wanted to cover other specific types of cells found in wood, but I don't think I'm gonna talk about them today. It's just overkill information anyway. But yeah, I think that's all I wanted to cover. Yeah, I think that's it. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had a lot of fun making it. I bought this purposefully to include in the video. I really wanted to include models so you guys can see exactly see what I'm talking about instead of just visualizing it. Because when it comes to the sciences, it's kind of hard to visualize these kinds of things. So it's easier when you have models where you can actually see what's going on. But anyways, I really hope you guys enjoyed my video. I really hope you guys learned something and will take something away from this. I'm going to continue exploring the rest of the garden, but for now, I hope you guys have a nice day and thanks so much. I'll see you in the next video.